In the untamed wilds of 1878 Montana, Hannah Valentin's quiet life shatters when a ruthless gang of outlaws storms her homestead, claiming her deceased father's mysterious debts. Cornered and alone, she faces a fate she cannot escape, until Garrett Ashford, a haunted former marshal with a tragic past, arrives in a blaze of gunfire to protect her. As danger tightens around them, Hannah and Garrett are thrust into a world of fear, vengeance, and survival. But in the midst of violence and uncertainty, an unexpected bond forms, one powerful enough to heal old wounds and ignite a love worth fighting for. In the rugged wilderness of 1878 Montana, where the wind carried the scent of pine and the mountains stood like ancient guardians, Hannah Valentin had grown used to living with silence. After her father's death nearly a year earlier, she managed the remote homestead alone, surviving on determination and grit. She believed the worst was behind her, until the day 3 armed riders thundered into her yard, dust rising behind them like a storm. Their leader, Silas Creed, a broad-shouldered outlaw with a scar running beneath his eye, dismounted first. His voice was cold, sharp as a winter blade. "Your daddy owed us more than money," he growled. "And debts don't die just 'cause he did." Hannah's heart pounded, but she stood tall, clutching the rifle her father taught her to shoot. She didn't know the details of her father's past dealings, but she knew one thing: these men weren't after repayment. They wanted blood. Before she could decide whether to run or fight, one of them fired a warning shot at her feet. The sound echoed through the valley. She stumbled backward, fear and fury twisting inside her. Silas stepped forward, ready to drag her away as collateral, as he called it. Then came another shot, this one from the ridge overlooking the property. Silas froze. One of his men dropped his gun with a cry, his hand hit clean through by a bullet. A lone rider descended the slope, long coat whipping in the cold Montana wind, his horse moving with controlled power. Hannah recognized him instantly from whispered stories: Garrett Ashford, former U.S. Marshal who had vanished after the murder of his wife and child. A man who carried justice like a shadow, and grief like a second skin. Garrett's voice carried across the clearing. "Creed, you take one more step toward that woman, and it'll be your last." Silas spat, furious but cautious. He knew Garrett's reputation: deadly aim, fearless heart. "This ain't your business, Ashford." Garrett's expression didn't change. "It is now." What followed was a tense standoff, guns drawn, tempers hot, mountains humming with silence. The outlaws eventually backed away, but not before Silas pointed a shaking finger at Hannah. "This ain't over. We'll be back, for the girl and the debt." When they rode off, Hannah finally exhaled, her legs nearly collapsing beneath her. Garrett dismounted and approached slowly, giving her space. "You all right?" he asked. She nodded, though her voice trembled. "Why did you help me? You don't even know me." Garrett looked past her, toward the homestead. "Your father did me a kindness once. I never paid him back." The admission surprised her. She had never known her father to be involved in anything honorable or dangerous enough to impress a marshal. But she didn't press. Not then. Over the next days, Garrett remained on the property, helping reinforce the cabin, setting traps along the tree line, preparing for the outlaws' return. Hannah learned quickly that beneath his hardened exterior was a man carrying more sorrow than most could withstand. Yet in his presence she felt safe, safer than she had in years. Nights by the fire became moments of confession. She shared her fear of the debt she didn't understand, he shared the grief of a family he couldn't save. In those quiet, fragile exchanges, something new formed between them: trust, warmth, hope. When Silas Creed finally returned with twice as many men, Hannah didn't hide. Rifle in hand, heart steady, she stood beside Garrett. Together they fought with courage born from desperation and something deeper, something worth living for. At dawn, the Creed gang lay defeated, scattered, or dead. Hannah's homestead stood bloodied but unbroken. Garrett turned to her, weary but alive. "You don't owe me anything," he said. Hannah shook her head softly. Maybe I do. Or maybe, we both just needed someone to come home to. In that moment, in the golden light of a Montana sunrise, two wounded souls found not only safety, but a future shaped by love, strength, and the promise of healing.